If you're new here, I am very interested in Hitman. I really like the Hitman series and stuff like that. So when I saw that this new James Bond game, 007 First Light, was coming out by the same people that made Hitman, IO Interactive, I was pretty interested because it makes sense. Hitman is a stealth game. You have all these different missions to go on and stuff like that. I can see how that ties into something like James Bond, right? So I was really curious to see how many similarities and stuff it would be between the two games. Here we have this article and we're gonna see what similarities are between the two, if there are any, how many, stuff like that. 007 First Light developers have revealed how Hitman's DNA will be incorporated and how they'll be developing brand new systems for the game. 007 First Light was revealed during Sony's State of Play even last month, bringing players a brand new story in the James Bond universe. Developed by creators of Hitman, IO Interactive, the title is set to receive a brand new gameplay trailer this summer, and ahead of that, they have revealed some fresh details for 007 First Light. 007 First Light will feature a blend of open moments and linear scenarios. During an interview with VGC, IO Interactive franchise director Jonathan LaSalle, don't know if I pronounced that right, discussed how Hitman will influence 007 First Light, but the game will be distinctly different. LaSalle states that when players think of Hitman, they imagine a very open space where you need to be more methodical and patient. Definitely, I can see that with Hitman. I've said this before, it's not a run and gun game. It's very much like you have to think about your next move. You have to think about what you're gonna do next. Some people don't really play it that way, but that's my way of playing. I love the games where you have to think about your next move and not just run to the next objective or run and gun your way to the next part of the game. At the same time, 007 First Light James Bond is a young character who can be somewhat reckless and lacks sufficient patience. So, and I've seen that in the trailer too. In the 007 trailer, there is some run and gun aspects, and I don't know if that's just kind of to show off what the game can do, or that's actually going to be part of the game. I assume it's going to be part of the game because I've seen in James Bond's movies and other forms of media from James Bond, there are some more run and gun type situations. Hitman is about being more methodical. 007 First Light is about making you think fast under pressure. So that definitely sounds like it's going to be more run and gun, think quick, you know? Developers will provide players a sense of forward momentum where they will often find themselves thinking about options like going right or left, defeating all guards, or letting them live. Oh, that's interesting. I wonder if that's gonna play a big part in the game at all. Does the situation need you to blow your cover, and more? So it looks like it's gonna also be disguises and stuff or some kind of situation. The game will feature a blend of open moments and linear moments. When the developers are taking us through the narrative, they will kind of drive the player through it. When it makes sense to open up, they will do so as well. The developers also want to incorporate some very big stunts and cinematic moments, so they will have to go a bit more linear in that way. 007 First Light will feature replayability like Hitman. 007 First Light will feature replayability as it's in the DNA of the studio. I mean, that's something that I really liked about Hitman. I still go back to the first Hitman that the studio made, and I replay it all the time. They always come out with DLCs and stuff like that. I think they came out with something that kind of incorporates all the games and kind of just builds off of that. And so it's always good to go back to it every once in a while, but it will never be done in a different way. Players will also have the option to tackle a mission, allowing them to revisit specific scenarios with new approaches and strategies. For example, picking the guard you need to track could open up different routes. Additionally, there may be multiple ways to access a single room. 007 First Light devs mentioned passive and offensive gadgets. The IO Interactive franchise director touched on the gadgets we can expect in 007 First Light. Players will receive a wide variety of gadgets from Q Lab, which can be used in passive or offensive ways. Passive ways including unlocking a door, hidden cameras, or eavesdropping in conversations. Hitman kind of did have some gadgets that were similar, just assist in the mission and stuff like that. Regarding offense, it's how players use these gadgets in combat, sustainability such as destroying an extinguisher to create a smoke screen. More details will be revealed through 007 First Light's gameplay reveal trailer, which I'm really excited to see. IO Interactive has built new systems from scratch. They are both benefiting from everything they have done in the past with Hitman, but many new features and systems are built from 007 First Light from scratch. The franchise director explained that James Bond is very different from Agent 47 in terms of gameplay and the fantasy, and what we want to tell you with the character, which is why these new systems have been built. For example, none of the previous Hitman games had driving, but 007 does, so they had to build that system from scratch. The same goes for shooting. As shooting in Hitman means failing a mission, yeah, they had to develop the system again for James Bond. Similarly, these new systems were designed for taking cover, using gadgets, and more. It's really interesting to see that they are using some of the same mechanics and systems from Hitman. I don't know if you guys know this, but there was like a whole thing with The Last of Us. They were using a lot of the same assets from the Uncharted series. There's a lot of pictures showcasing like stuff that was used in The Last of Us, like side by side stuff that was used in The Last of Us and the stuff that was used in Uncharted, and they look the exact same. Like I think one of them was the sky mechanic, and then there was like a couple other things, but it's really interesting if you wanted to take a look at it. Oh my gosh, so yeah, they're already talking about putting it on the Switch too, which is interesting. I don't think Hitman is on the Switch, or is it? Wait, maybe it is. Let me look this up. Oh no, it is on the Switch. I didn't know that. So World of Assassin, Hitman 3 is on the Switch. For any of you who like to use a Switch and want to play that game, there you go. Yeah, so another interesting point that Sally covered was 007 First Light Switch 2 port. The franchise director explained that they will have an amazing engine, the Glacier engine, which allows them to bring a game to as many platforms as possible with limited friction. At the same time, IO Interactive thinks the Switch 2 is a powerful device, powerful enough for us to bring First Light to it natively. Very interesting to see the similarities and non-similarities between the two games. Like I said, I was kind of looking for it to be alike in terms of like, okay, you have to think about what you're gonna do next. It's not just gonna be just another shooter game, because I feel like there's a lot of games like that where you just don't really think about it. You kind of just go through the story, kill the bad guys, shoot the bad guys. Sometimes there is stuff involved, but it's still fairly linear. Like the last game I can remember playing that came out recently was Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. That game, it did have some stealth mechanics to it and stuff like that, but it wasn't very difficult. You didn't really have to think much. You just follow the story. I don't know. I guess we'll see more when they come out with the gameplay trailer. I'm really excited to see where that goes. I guess they said that it was supposed to be coming, or a gameplay trailer is supposed to be coming sometime in the summer, and summer is already halfway over, so hopefully we'll be getting that soon, right?